That's going to do it. The Texans take down Tennessee 26-3. They lock up a winning season in D'Amico Ryan's first campaign and take another big step toward the postseason with the horseshoe up next on the road. Big win for Houston. 23-point victory.
Dominating performance by this Texans defense. Stroud came back in. He was the model of consistency that he has been all year long. Took care of the football, delivered it on time, no rust whatsoever, and should be ready to go next week in a big way.
And Will Anderson Jr. and Drew Doherty about to converse at the 40-yard line. Let's go downstairs and find out what Drew's up to.
Well, look who it is, H-Town. We got Will Anderson back. Well, you missed 2 weeks. You come back with a vengeance, back-to-back stacks. How important was that for you?
Man, I think it's just all about the team. I got to give all glory to God, man. He's blessed this team tremendously with a bunch of talent, a bunch of great guys, a bunch of great coaches, a bunch of great teammates, man. Coach talked about it all week. It's just emptying the tank, and I think that's exactly what we did today. We emptied the tank, and everybody left it on the field today.
Everybody in the NFL this time of year is banged up. The defensive line for the Texans especially so. You were missing a few starters today. You're banged up as well. What's it say about the effort of you guys up front to do what you did? All the sacks. You hold them to about 50 yards rushing. How important was the D-line today?
Yeah, it was very important, man. We just showed grit. You know what I'm saying? We talk about it all the time. It starts with up front, and the fitness was up front, man. And everybody came to work. Everybody had that mentality that we won't be denied. And, you know, we're striving to be one of the best D-lines in the league, and that's the main goal. And we just want to keep going and get to the playoffs.
You were back today. Blake Cashman was back today. Your buddy C.J. Stroud was back today. What sort of lift did that give the team?
You know, they did a great job, you know, without us. But just having us back, man, it just – the togetherness as a team, man. We all one family. You know, everybody's together, and I think that's what we did. We played together. We worked for together. Like, all week we was talking about pray for the person beside you, and I think everybody did a doggone good job of doing that today.
And you got 1 week to go. You head to Indianapolis. You win. You're in the playoffs no matter what. How sweet a feeling is that for you?
Man, it's a sweet feeling for all of us, man. We got to reach that goal, and we just got to keep chopping wood and keep going. Love y'all, H-Town. Thank you to all the fans. Let's go.
Let's hear it for Will Anderson, number 51.
We're live from the Mattress Firm broadcast booth. It's the most wonderful time of the year when your football team has clinched a winning campaign and has a real shot to get into the playoffs. But the Texans must win next week at Indy to assure themselves of a postseason ticket. And if the Jags lose next week to Tennessee, go Titans next week, then they'll be the AFC South champs with a victory at Indianapolis. A lot of different things can happen, and a lot of memorable moments have occurred over the course of this home regular season schedule. And there's nothing like you, your friends, family, drinking ice-cold Coca-Cola, watching Texans football, letting the memories occur. Coca-Cola together tastes better. Well, 3.5 on the Texans D to start this game. Then a field goal drive, but the Texans looking pretty sharp. They stalled, connected 3-0 lead later in the first, and then the drive extended into the second quarter. Texans go on a 94-yard march. Titans got called for roughing the punter, or just running into the punter. That extended the drive. Later on, they got it down to the 12-yard line, and the quarterback, who had not been in action for 3 weeks, went to work. First down at the Tennessee 12-yard line. CJ fakes the give, dumps it off, short left. Brevin Jordan across the 5, walks in, touchdown, Houston. Brevin Jordan's second TD reception of the year, touchdown pass number 21 for CJ Stroud. 10-0 Houston. After that, all the points they would need on the afternoon, but they would add to it because later on in the second, it was a sack fest for the Texans today. While Will Levis was still in the game, Jerry Hughes on the Reppin' H-Town afternoon would be heard from. That D-line went to work with some big fireworks. Here's a pistol set with Henry behind Levis. First down, Titans at their 25-yard line. Levis fakes the give to Henry in the pocket. Here comes Jerry Hughes to bury the quarterback. Ball out, and here comes a score for the Houston Texans as Rankins runs it in. scoop, score. How about that? Touchdown Texans, 17-0 after Fairbairn's extra point. He would add a 38-yard field goal before the break. Titans, before the break, were driving, but a sack by Will Anderson Jr. pushed Ryan Tannehill now in the game for Will Levis back. And then on the next play, Anderson again. Here's a second down and 19 for the Titans at the Houston 45-yard line. Tannehill shotgun, one back, two receivers each side. Tannehill to throw, more pressure on the way, and Will Anderson gets him again! Back-to-back sacks! Will Anderson Jr., 7 sacks on the year now. What a play there, but Tannehill came back and fired a dart to DeAndre Hopkins to enable Nick Folk to connect from 53 yards at the halftime buzzer for the only points of the afternoon for Tennessee, 20-3. Texans in the second half would add a couple of field goals by Fairbairn. Defense came up with stop after stop, turnover on downs when the Titans were in a goal to go. They got a penalty too, so I believe it was 7 plays that the Texans stopped the Titans on inside the 10-yard line. Amazing stuff there. And then another turnover on downs. And late in the game, D'Amico Ryans was able to empty the bench a bit, pulled C.J. Stroud, a few other players, Davis Mills, mopped up. Texans win 26-3. And Dre, what a performance today. Top to bottom, all 3 phases really looking good. And that's what they needed today.
Yeah, they really did. I mean, they needed a confidence boost going into next week for it to really mean something against the Colts. You kind of control your own destiny. They wanted to take care of that and not to have to depend on a bunch of different scenarios next week or hanging on by a sliver. So you win today and win in convincing fashion. You set yourself up for a big-time road trip and a big game next week against the Colts and Gardner Minshew. Hey, let's go see what's going to happen. I love it.
26-3, the final count. The Houston Texans take apart Tennessee and run their record to 9-7, clinching a winning season. Playoff berth can be clinched next week with a win at the Indianapolis Colts. And Andre, let's have the sack report.
Yeah, knocked out a quarterback in with a sack. Our HEB sack report, the Texans had 6 sacks in today's ball game, 2 by Will Anderson. Derek Barnett had a sack and a half. Sheldon Rankins had a sack, also a scoop and score. Jerry Hughes provided the fumble and the sack that scored or allowed Sheldon Rankins to score. Kurt Heinisch had a half sack, all totaling to 6 sacks on the game. And as part of Sacks for Hunger, HEB will donate $1,000 to the Houston Food Bank every time the Texans sack the quarterback. The HEB Sack Attack, it's brought to you by HEB, the official tailgate headquarters of the Houston Texans.
Well, we know the Titans are not an offensive juggernaut, but when you needed it most, your defense came up with a huge day, 187 yards allowed. That's the fewest all season for an opponent. And Derrick Henry, this one wasn't as masterful as last time, but it was masterful. 42 yards for Henry on 12 carries. That's it. That's all he got. Tannehill threw for 168. Levis did not even hit 20 yards passing before he was knocked out of the game in the first half. DeAndre Hopkins, pretty nice day for him. 7 catches, 72 yards. But the Texans took control. And Andre, the most important thing in this game, how did CJ look in his return after a 3-week absence?
He looked like he'd never missed a beat. You know, timing was there, accuracy was there, everything. He bounced around, moved around well, threw well on the run when he needed to. I just thought it was a solid performance by CJ across the board. He checked every box for me in his return.
26-3 final score. The Houston Texans with the win over the Tennessee Titans. Texans go 6-3 at home. They are 9-7 on the season. They are winners in 2023, but the postseason berth remains extremely possible as you go to Indianapolis next week. A win over the Colts gets it done. The Colts have defeated the Las Vegas Raiders today. Reliant Power player of the game, a featured player from the matchup. Proud to be the official energy provider of the Houston Texans. Reliant, well, this is going to be Brevin Jordan, who caught a touchdown pass today, and Andrew Beck was unavailable. Got injured on Friday in practice, so Jordan had to do all the fullback duties. He was in there for a lot of snaps. Johnny Harris catches up with Brev in the locker room.
All right, down in Victoria's locker room, standing next to number 9, which is symbolic for 9 wins. Brevin Jordan, your most wins since you've been a Texan. How's it feel?
It feels great, man. I mean, when you experience 3-4 win seasons, bro, back-to-back years, there's really no words for it, man. I'm just so blessed, man, to be on this team with the staff, with these players, man. It's an unbelievable feeling.
Take me through your touchdown. Seemed to get in there pretty easy. This time you were able to stay in bounds. A couple of games where you got close to the white. This time you stayed in bounds and got all the way in. Take me through it.
Yeah, man. It was actually, we ran it on the first drive, bro. But the first time we ran it, I blocked. I stayed in, so we set it up. The next drive, our OC, he came to me and told me he trusts me, man, and called it, man. He said run the slide, so I ran it and it was wide open. And just huge credit to my OC, my tight end coach CJ. They all believed in me, man, and it was just a huge confidence boost for me.
Andrew Beck out today, so Now, in your role, you do a lot of different things for the team. There's no doubt. You're kind of like the Desmond King of the offense, right, Des? Yeah, Des sitting here listening. But you play a little bit more fullback today, leading on a few more runs. How'd you kind of take that role? Look pretty good in some of those runs to pop for Motor and for Damian.
Yeah, it felt good, man. I mean, when you in this offense, you got to be a Swiss Army knife. You know, the fullbacks and tight ends, we're in the same room together. So we got to be able to know both positions at all times. We got to be able to be ready. And honestly, it was fun. I had a little fun out there, man. There was a couple plays I wish I could go back and, like that 4-minute drive, we ran a power. I kind of missed the DN, but other than that, man, I actually had a lot of fun out there blocking. It was really a good time for me.
A lot of fun is the playoffs. I know you guys are very aware. It takes one win in a place where the Texans haven't won a lot.
Yep.
And that's up in Indianapolis. How's that feel with one game you get in the playoffs? How's that feel? How's the team kind of respond?
Yeah, we got a victory Monday, man, but we lost to the Colts week 2, of the season. It's one of those games where it's been circled on the schedule for us for a long time. We got to get back to work, and we got to just, be ready to go. 4 quarters. That's all we got, 4 quarters. And we're going to empty the tank, and we're going to, try to go out here and try to get the win.
Brevin, I'll ask you one more question. Just about the other side of the ball. The defense, 7 plays inside the 3-yard line. They hold them after a terrible call on Dez.
Yeah.
What about your defense today?
Unbelievable, man. That's a team full of guys that are resilient, that love the game, that are passionate about the game, passionate about one another, man. That defense is the sky's the limit for them, man. Whatever they want to achieve, man, they can achieve it. And honestly, I feel like the same is with the offense. Whatever we want to achieve, if all 11 guys are on their P's and Q's, we can get anything done. We can do anything we want to accomplish.
Brevin, I appreciate it, man. Congratulations. Thank you.
Appreciate you.
So much fun to hear those guys speak with confidence. You just know every time you come to the stadium on whatever day, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, or Thursday, you got a chance to win with guys like that and the confidence in which they speak with. You know they mean exactly what they're saying, and they leave it right out on the field. It's awesome.
It all trickles down from the top, no?
Yeah, way from up here, from the broadcast booth, all the way down.
I'm talking about D'Amico.
I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. But, yeah, with D'Amico, he came in. It's been a breath of fresh air since he got the job, since he started to introduce his staff. The draft was remarkable. The trade back into the first round or down into the first round to get Will Anderson Jr. right behind C.J. Stroud. I mean, it started that night for me, and then it's just continued on. It's been one good thing after another to make it a magical season.
Stroud returning today was huge, and Will Anderson coming back with 2 sacks, huge as well, among other plays, of course. At NRG Stadium, the Houston Texans have knocked off the Titans 26-3, and they are 9-7. They have a winning season, and they have a playoff possibility if they beat the Colts next week. There are other ways to possibly get in, but let's not get into that right now. 23-20, the Colts defeating the Raiders today as we check them out. Prime Sport, tail of the tape, primesport.com for your VIP experience needs. Dre, Gardner Minshew, 224 yards today, 1 touchdown, no picks. Jonathan Taylor, 21 carries, 96 yards, 4.5 per pop. He had a touchdown. Here are the Colts. They've got Taylor, and Minshew has been the biggest blessing in disguise you can imagine after Anthony Richardson went out in week 2 here because they have 9 wins. And let's get it on next week in Indy.
Yeah, he proved it to everyone what he felt in his own right was that he was still a starting quarterback in this league, and he's played that way. You mentioned the 224. Jonathan Taylor, I'd throw in Alec Pierce, who had a big reception for a touchdown, a 58-yard touchdown catch. Josh Downs. Michael Pittman is a number 1 receiver in this league. He had 5 receptions for 46 yards today. So they've got a complete set on offense. Defensively, they can get after you as well. E.J. Speed, Zaire Franklin, Nick Cross, all those guys up front, they can get after you. So it's no tall order. I'd rather have them here, but if you got to go there and do it, it's inside. It'll be perfect conditions to get it done. Let's just go there and get a win and get out of there. Get to 10 wins.
We've seen it happen before. Big win in Indy late in the season, 2015, 2016. Last year, different story, of course. But here it is. The Texans have played the Colts 44 times in their history. They've only won 10 of them. Next week, a chance to win another and for the postseason ticket. And we can't wait. Noon kick, maybe. We don't know. We're going to know later on as the schedule will come out following all the Week 17 results so the league can set up the slate in Week 18 properly. That's going to do it from NRG Stadium. We want to thank everyone who worked on the broadcast today. Our producer and halftime host, Robert Hensley. Our engineer, Aaron Raybold. Back at the studio at Network Control, doing a masterful job as always, Ryan Rocket. Chris Santiago with the highlight work. John Harris with the sideline reporting duties. Andre Ware with game analysis. I'm Marc Vandermeer, thanking you all for listening. Once again, the final score from NRG Stadium on Reppin' H-Town Day. The Houston Texans 26, the Tennessee Titans 3. This is Texans Radio.